I can't watch Golden State because every time I watch, they lose. So I am avoiding looking at it as much as I can. Yeah, I don't know much about trades. I don't. I mean, I listen, but I'm like, oh, that's cool, and I just kind of don't speculate. But if you want, I mean, I can nod and say like, yeah, that sounds cool.
I mean, do what you want to do. I mean, this is like open discussion. Like, I'm not looking to like.
Open.
Yeah, just open discussion. I mean, if you want to talk about your favorite player, that's fine with me. If you want to talk about your favorite trade or a proposal trade, that's fine with me. I'm not here to sway anybody's opinion about anything.
All right. Propose a trade.
So I think we got a few people that just joined. So who do we have here that just joined?
Elder just came in.
Elder, what's going on, man? This is Michael.
What's up, man? Oh, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Like I was telling Dickie, I fucking dropped the ball big time, so my fault on that one. And I apologize for cussing if that's a rule. So my bad.
Man, it's cool, man. We good. We're gonna get it together by the time the draft come around.
Oh yeah. So what's that? That's
gonna be good conversation.
That's 2 Mondays from now. Is that right?
No, next week.
I think so. Oh, no. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's the 24th.
The 24th or the 22nd?
That's quick.
When is that Thursday? When is it Thursday?
Next Thursday is the 25th.
Yeah, definitely it is the 25th.
The 25th, man. Oh man, the draft.
Yeah, it's always on a Thursday.
Okay, so all right, so I got a big question for you, Aldo.
What's up?
Ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Sam Decker, dude, what is your obsession with this guy, man? Why is he your guy?
It's not an obsession, man. I want to be clear. I'll tell you, I do the draft thing, like, for real, like, all year long. I just view these guys, like, I love college basketball.
Okay.
So when they coming out of high school and all this other stuff and they start to hit in, I start watching the dudes who are like top 10 in the country and everything, like you see their progression. And I look at his game and I say that his game, people say stuff like, oh, his points are not impressive. He's not that type of dude. He's not a selfish score dude. He's a system guy. He fits in any system. And he was in Bo Ryan's system, which is more about discipline, taste basketball. But his skill level is ridiculous. And people are just starting to catch on to this. So when I was saying, when everybody was comparing him to Kyle Singler, saying he's slow and he's this, I was like, he's athletic. He's like probably one of the most athletic dudes in the draft. And everybody's like, no, he's this, he's this. Now everybody come back, oh, he's an athletic wing. I was saying this before. So a lot of times people say stuff about people, and they're not really watching them in college basketball. They're watching them to say he got hot. He did get hot at the end of the year, but he was playing well all year long. Only thing he doesn't do well is shoot the deep ball, and I say that it is a weakness. But everything else, the guy's probably the most versatile player in the draft. And if you measure him up against all the other wings, I don't think no other wing really measures. I'm being very honest. None of them are as versatile as him who can play like the 2, 3, and 4 with the size, athletic ability, the measurables. He's literally probably one of the best players in the draft, and I just don't think it's going to go away. I think that I don't care where he goes in the draft. I do believe he's going to go lottery. I don't care where he goes in the draft. In about 3 years, people are going to be talking about him. I'm just telling you. I believe his skill level is there. And I'm a Big Ten guy, so I watched him when he did to my team, Ohio State, when it was really coming at him. And people say because of Frank Kaminsky, every person in the draft has a person that took their weight off of him. Not Julius Randle. What's his name? Justin Winslow. Who did he? Look at all the talent he had around him. You look at even Stanley Johnson. He had a lot of talent around him. But look at when all these other players they started to drop off. Look how Sam Decker rose to the occasion. I just think that he's probably one of the best well-rounded players in the draft, and he will fit our system. I'm not saying the Pistons going to take him 8, but I still think he's the best wing versatile player in this draft.
So,
I'm told.
who do you think is gonna realistically take him though? Because I think he's gonna go. Like I was telling you earlier, I personally think he's gonna go like 14, 15. I think he's like borderline lottery, and then borderline, last tier playoff team type of pick, like mid first rounder.
But I'm hearing anywhere between just reading everything. I think he can legitimately. Depends on who falls. Like everybody's so big on Winslow and Mario that if they fall to 8, I'm not saying that the Pistons should pick Decker over them. If they believe in whoever they believe in, run with it. They like Stanley Johnson, run with them. They like Decker, they like Frank Kaminsky, whoever they like, pick them. I think he will go between 8 and 14. And I think the teams that are looking at him are the Thunder. They might want insurance for Durant leaves, and he becomes insurance for Durant. They already run out of wings. They don't have a lot of proven wings, and they may look to add another guy who can come in and just kind of be that. I think Phoenix could be interested, and I'm hearing Miami is another team that's really interested in him. Like, he's already had, like they said, Pat Riley really likes him. Now, I don't know if they just trying to gas him up. This was the time of year when everybody gets kind of pumped up and torn down to kind of do a lot of distractions. But I think that those are between the Pistons. I always said the Pistons, Miami, and Phoenix would be, I feel like, the 3 most likely. Because he can fit in those systems real easy. But I think that, in my opinion, if we don't go that route, I would love Stanley Johnson. I rank Stanley Johnson if we just skill, talent level, potential, ability to contribute right now. I think that Stanley Johnson is like above Winslow and Mario and anybody else we could possibly think of as space. What do you think, Dixie?
Somebody said my name.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the draft?
You know what? I just want to go to the Pistons Palace draft party. Everybody's talking about that's not like my entire goal is I just want to be there. But I honestly don't know and don't follow, so I feel I listen even on the chat room. I just listen.
So, Elda,
what you thinking?
Well, okay, so I'm thinking a lot. Like, I'm very shocked over the last week how much the draft, the mock drafts have shaken up over just a few workouts. Because I 2 weeks ago, I really, really felt that things were going to pretty much stay the same. Justice Winslow, a few other guys, we're all going to stay top 5 picks. I'm looking at drafting scripts right now, and they must have just updated this today. And guess who they have taking Justice Winslow at number 8?
Right.
The Detroit Pistons. Like, he was not even, dude, 2 weeks ago, he wasn't even close to being on our radar. But what scares me about Winslow is, all the other things that everybody's been saying about him. Like, he's 3 inches shorter than what he's been projected the whole year. It's kind of scary, man. It's who are we really getting? You know what I mean? I know size is not everything, but I mean, you still want to get an accurate idea of who you're going to get. And when your height fluctuates like that, that's scary, dude. That's a scary, 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 scary thought. You think you're getting a 6'6" guy, and you're really getting a guy that's 6'4.5". That's not good.
I watched Winslow this year, and I know James and some other people are really crazy about him. I watched Winslow. Once again, this is what I'm not claiming to be an expert, and I'm not claiming I know the insider and all this, none of that. I'm just going by, the eye test and all this stuff. When you take a 6'4" dude and college, and he can't produce as a wing in college, but you got to put him as a stretch four so that he can get off. And he's not. And everybody used to say he was super athletic. He's not super athletic, springy. He is quick. Because what it is with biggest physical body, but that's the difference. Big, strong physical body in college and then strong physical body in English.
Hey, Elder, we got a little bit of noise. Hey, Dickie, is that you?
It might be. Hold on, I'll mute me.
All right. There we go.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah. I like he's sick. Like he did damage. Like when he made that run in the last 20. You know, everybody, and I hate keep making the comparison. Everybody said Sam Decker got hot during college, during the NCAA. That's when everybody got attention. Nobody was talking about Winslow as this top 5, top 3 pick until he got hot. He wasn't crazy. He does play good defense. I'm not taking that away from him. But he has no offense in the half-court set. And I don't see how people keep on ignoring that for potential. He played his offense, his most productive run, he was playing power forward. Duke's most productive defense, they were playing zone defense. If you look at what they did against, everybody say, people are like, oh, he shut down Decker. Him and Decker never even matched up. In the 2 times they played, him and Decker only matched up in switches because Winslow plays zone defense as a power forward. He is athletic, but in the NBA, he can't get away with playing power forward. Come on, I don't care how strong or whatever he is. He's not Charles Barkley. He can't get away with playing power forward in the NBA, and that's what his advantage came. He struggles off the dribble. He has a terrible, inconsistent shot. He can't shoot off the move. His best offensive set is half-court offense, pop his shot in the corner on the wing. That's, to me, that's not top 5, and I said it. Like, I said that he's not that type of talent. If you remember if you go back and look at some articles after they made the NCAA, there's articles like, is Winslow better than Okafor? Is he number 1 worthy? Then he did a few workouts, and the only workouts you heard that he did well in was with the Knicks. And then the Knicks was hyping up every person that came in. You remember they had Trey Lyles? Trey Lyles blew them away. And it was the new guy, Cameron Payne. Cameron Payne, amazing workout. Knicks were trying to get out of that pick. They don't want that pick. They just want to make sure. The only way they're going to take that pick is if I can't say the guy, the Christus Port his name.
Yeah.
The foreign.
Yeah. I can't say his name either. I want to say it's Chris Tapps.
Yeah. I'll tell you this: if they stay at 4, it's only because my boy from Ohio State, D'Angelo Russell, falls to 4. Now people are projecting.
I think he
That's
could.
already standing for.
I think he could, though. Honestly, out of everybody in the whole draft, the only people that's been consistent on where they're going to be drafted is D'Angelo Russell at 4, Karl Towns at 1, and Okafor at 2. Everybody else has been these last 2 weeks have just been crazy. Everybody's been just falling and dropping and rising.
It surprised me, though. I think the only person who really surprised me, and I don't know if they're using him as a decoy or he's really been that good in the workouts, is the Cameron Payne. He's the only person, because if you look at it, you go to draft, if you know that you go to Draft Express and you go up and you click to the player and you click history, it shows where the player was. Now, he really made a jump because he was outside the lottery for a long time. And then he just boom. Then all of a sudden he came in a conversation about being with the Knicks. He got in conversation with being with Sacramento. He got to these conversations of being like a top 10 dude, and it was after these workouts. He's the only guy who really surprised me because the whole draft thing, because everybody say there's no point guards in this draft. And then you look at Emmanuel Mundy. Now he's dropping. Now some people saying that he could drop to about 6 or 7. Which could make sense for Denver. If he drops to 7, I could see Denver actually passing on any wing and taking him. And then that pushes, that's why I say I really think that Winslow has some poor workouts. You don't go from out of NCAAs to being a 19-year-old, to everybody comparing you to Harden, which is not a good comparison, comparing them to Jimmy Butler, not a good comparison, comparing them to Kawhi Leonard, not a good comparison. He's supposed to be all these three players in one, and you go from, you only have 4 workouts. He only had 4 workouts. He had a workout with the Knicks. He worked out with Orlando. He worked out with Denver, and he worked out with the Pistons. So the Pistons was just today. He worked out with Orlando Denver like a few days ago. He worked out with Orlando maybe last week, and he worked out with the Knicks last week. And out of all of those workouts, the only time you heard he was impressive was with the Knicks. That's it. But if he thought he was a lock for 4, he would not be coming up. He wouldn't be working out with Detroit. So either that means Detroit is ready to make a move, like a trade, to move up to grab him, or he got one of those Andre Drummond one is you're going to slip, and you need to make sure that these other teams here catch you, because if you keep falling, you're going to go past this pick. And, when you get past a certain pick, you lose millions of dollars. You know what I mean? You're talking about losing hundreds of thousands of dollars. So that's the only time players start to work out for teams they don't see themselves at. He only worked out for 4 teams. He's not working out for no other team unless, something comes up. Whatever team is going to look at him. No other team is interested in him. I'm telling you, I don't know what he'll become, because I hate to say people become a bum. I don't like saying things like that, but I just have never been impressed by his game. I can't get down with a player who has no in-between game. He's a guard, and he has no in-between game. That should concern everybody,
You know what? What bothers me is that Justice Winslow is now projected to, what I want to see from Draft Express is all their edits with the mock draft. Their mock draft, all their edits from previous mock drafts, you know what I mean? Before they made their adjustments, I want to see, their last previous adjustment.
No, go there. Yeah, go to the thing, though, and hit history. You go to Draft Express.
I'm trying to see it. I'm not seeing
it. Go to mock draft, pick the player, and then up it'll say draft. It will say mock history, and it will show you their up and down, how they've gone up and down throughout the week.
But does it show I get it for the individual player, but does it show for the whole draft, so I can actually see everybody's placement?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go look at that.
Because I want to see that, because I think it'd be really interesting for guys like Payne and Chris Tapps, I don't know how to say his first name, and Mario, because that's another guy that's been fluctuating up and down. Here's the thing. So on Draft Express, they're pretty legit. So my thing is that they still have Justice Winslow as 6'7". Still have it listed as 6'7". That fucking bothers the shit out of me.
But did you go to the profile?
Yeah, I'm at his profile.
For his profile, they have him at 6'6.5", and then they have him without shoes at 6'4.5". At the thing, they was talking about it on. I remember on Twitter when they were doing the combine. There was talking about all the players who had to wear lifts, what his name is, Tyus Jones. He went from something barefoot. He was 6'1", something like that. And then when he put on his shoes, he was almost 6'3". So I remember saying that about Justice Winslow, and he was one of the players who said, he gets a boost. And then right after that, a lot of people are he's not the height. And I said that before. If you watch the games, you see him stand next to certain players. He doesn't even look as tall. People say you don't play barefoot. No, but you're not playing with 2-inch lifts in your feet either, because that's going to mess up a player's ankles. That's how you tear your feet up. So when he gets on that court, he is going to be 6'5". He's going to be 6'5", and he'd probably be 6'5 and a quarter or 6'5 and a half. Because you're not going to wear the same shoes that give you the little lift during the games, because that's how you mess up your ankles. You would tear your ankles up wearing 2-inch lifts. Those are not the standard shoes. If they were the standard shoes, then all these other players everybody will wear them. you wouldn't see the inconsistencies in the heights if everybody wore 2 inches or such and such.
Well,
that's not your playing shoes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I don't know why you would wear them during competitive action anyway. There's no
exactly.
This is not jogging. You know what I mean? You're not jogging, running through the motions. I mean, this is competitive. This is a competitive sport with guys at equal or the same amount of skill level, or maybe a little higher, a little lower, give or take, of skill level. You're going to be you're playing competitive basketball. There's no way you would wear lifts in your shoes playing at that level. And then when you switch it to the NBA, damn near everybody's going to be as good, if not better than you. You're not going to have a night where there's someone that's not going to be as good as you. You wouldn't have any room to experiment like that. You're going to fuck your shit up. Like, it's not realistically, it's not probable. It's not possible. It's not probable. There's no one in their right mind that would do something like that. So, I completely agree with you.
Let me say this. What I like about Winslow, and people think I'm tough, I do like his energy defensively, and I do love him in transition. I believe if we were to just say, we get into it, if we were like a really up-paced team, and if this is how we're going to do,
I think we are going to be a real up-paced team, man.
But are we going to push the ball? Are we going to push the ball after basket? That's when Winslow will be crazy. If we was like, we're going to push the ball after basket. Even when the team scores, kind of like what Golden State is doing now against the Cavs. Even after the Cavs score, they're playing small ball and they push it. So we just said we're going to play small ball. It's hard to play small ball with Drummond. You know what I mean? So if we play small ball, we are basically saying we're going to be pulling Drummond out the game. So that's why I said I don't think we're going to fit that, because you can't run Drummond like that. You're going to tear him up. He wouldn't be able to sustain the 30 minutes. So you got to put players who can operate in half courts, who know how to move. I'm just saying, we just mean you want a player who knows how to move. As much as people say, oh, Singler fit what we was trying to do in Detroit. He didn't need the ball. Now, we want a better version of Singler, somebody more athletic, somebody better skilled, somebody who can, get their own bucket, of course. But he fit what we were doing. Somebody who shoots the three, somebody who move without the ball, somebody who can create space.
He was our best three-point shooter.
You don't need a guy. Huh?
He was our best three ball. Out of everybody on the roster, man, no one was shooting the ball better than Ziegler.
He was at one point he was over 40%.
Yeah,
that's what I was sharing in the group one time. I said, the difference was people say he couldn't get open. Last year, Singler averaged almost 10 points a game, and he was playing more minutes. He was getting more shots. This year, his shots went down, and he wasn't playing as many minutes. So he doesn't become as effective. But he was still our best three-ball shooter, and he was our best spacer. We had our best run with Singler in Atlanta because it created space.
Yep.
We got crazy when we had to learn to play without him. When we had to learn to play without that space, when we didn't have when we got, and I'm not going to go into my Reggie Jackson spiel. Okay, that's for another day. But when we got Reggie Jackson, who's not a three-point shooter, teams started to clamp down. So what did Stan Van Gundy do? He took out Greg Monroe got hurt. He put in Tulliver. Then we had a stretch four. So then, what's his name went off? Homeboy went off. Reggie Jackson started having those crazy games because he had all the space. And him and Drummond was running pick and roll. I think I seen a stat that said we were running pick and roll 60% of the time. When we had Jennings, we wasn't running pick and roll that heavy because you had Greg Monroe, you had Josh Smith all clouding up the space. You can't run pick and roll without a stretch forward because teams are just going to pack the paint. You can't play pick and roll when teams are packing the paint. So I think that you need a wing, even if it's Stanley Johnson or even if it's Kelly Oubre. I don't think Kelly Oubre is ready. I don't think he's even close to being ready. But I will feel better about him than even Winslow because he can actually shoot the ball and he has the ability to be a really good shooter. I'm just saying, it's just certain people just don't. I just never been a fan of Winslow. I think if Winslow went back to college and he showed me that he could do it, the same thing he did this year, even if his numbers were exactly the same, do the same thing this year without Okafor, then I would feel better about him being at the wing. But I just don't feel good now. I know he's 19 and players can get better, but we can say that about everybody. Who can't we say, in 3 years, you know what I mean?
Elda, what if scenario for you, okay? See, because now we're talking about Winslow. We're talking about whether he would fit with what everybody's been saying how he should fit, and it's not really what they're saying. It really is not what everybody's saying he is. So, like, do you think he'd be a better shooting guard? Like,
I think he's all shooting guard. I think we made him. He kind of reminds me of a less athletic, and I don't know, it's not a compliment. He kind of reminds me of like a less athletic Desmond Mason.
Okay.
That's what he kind of reminds me of. Like, he could be an awesome slasher. I think he could be an awesome slasher. I think he could be a great guy, and once again, a great guy in transition. I do think he could play some small forward, but I don't think that's his home. I don't think his home will be on the wing, and I think you would do him an injustice to put him on the wing. I think he needs the ball in his hand, and he would need to be told attack the rim.
Would he be an
and he would have to
upgrade
learn how to
KCP?
dribble. I think he could. I think he could be, and you know what? That's a good example. Because I think the athleticism is about the same. And people sleep on Caldwell Pope, but look at those chase down blocks that he getting. You know what I mean? That's the athleticism. It's not just your max vertical jump. It's the explosion, it's the timing, and I think he has that. But what he doesn't have, and you know how KCP is just starting to learn. Here he is, right going to the third year, and then he's learning to learn to do the little pump fakes and take people off the dribble with the quick moves. He's just learning that. I think Winslow's going to be the same way. I think in 2-3 years from now, he can start to develop his other part of his game. But right now, go watch the tapes. Like, watch his best game and what he's doing. His best game, it was against, oh my God, what's the team? I think he scored like 20 points in the tourney. And that's when everybody started calling him a superstar and everything like that. But then he comes right back to the next game, and he doesn't do anything. Against Wisconsin, in the finals, everybody said Sam Decker choked, and he did. He went 0 for 6 for threes and everything. Winslow did nothing that game. He had 2 blocks in the first half. That's it. He did nothing else notable that game. He couldn't even beat, and he wasn't even he was being defended by Niles, the dude Niles, and he couldn't do nothing with him. So these are little indicators to me. When you can't beat a power forward who's an athletic, considered like an athletic, quick-footed power forward, in college off the dribble, how can you come to the NBA and think you're going to do that to a wing? We was like, oh, he can defend LeBron. Nobody defends LeBron. You know what I mean? That's like, like who, you know what I mean? Oh, why are we going to draft? Like, we had that little conversation a while ago, like, we were talking about, oh, we need somebody who can defend LeBron, who can defend Carmelo. For real, on a good day, nobody's defending Carmelo. Nobody's defending LeBron. Nobody's defending Durant. Nobody's really messing with Paul George if he come back 100% healthy and he's on his game. There's certain wings in the league who are not going to be, I don't care who the defender is. Everybody always said a good offensive player will always be the good defensive player. So to draft a guy for defense, it's silly to me. I don't, unless he's a center or a defensive power forward who can block shots and change shots. To draft a wing or a shooting guard because we see what happened with Michael Kidd-Gilchrist.
Mm-hmm.
Come on now, they basically the same play. They had the same exact measurables. Whitney shoots the spot up 3 better, but they play the same game,
So, switching up gears, because I want to cover some topics, and then I want to watch the end of this game because it's looking like it's a close one. Because I'm kind of away from the television, but I'm at my computer right now. Your thoughts on Ilyasova, man?
Oh man, I'm excited about the move because my thing is I was kind of tired of the Greg Monroe thing. It to me it bothered me so much. To me, this is like staying committing to move on. Very honest. If Ilyasova came in and he was garbage, I'd still be okay with it because I just feel like it's Stan saying we are putting the ball. We are now ready to build this team around Drummond. We are ready to really build this team around Drummond. I think he's seen the progression of Drummond. What Drummond did in the last 2 months of the season, averaging like 17 points, 15 rebounds, and over 2 blocks a game, all of those type of stats, I think he's like, now we're ready to put Drummond. Here it is, Drummond getting his body together. Supposedly he's working on his game. We're starting to see that little hook come to play. We're starting to see, maybe he'll be the first, not the first, but he'll be part of the new generation of legit bigs who play with their back to the basket, who's going to cause teams to really have to double team him, and he's not going to start floating away from the basket. So I'm excited about the Ilyasova move, not just because I think Ilyasova is a good stretch four, and I think that he can, if he can stay healthy, I think he can actually provide some offense. But it means that Stan is now saying, okay, I'm done with this Greg Monroe such and such project. It clearly is not working. It's not good for us. So we're moving on. So I love the idea that we're moving on, and we're not going to keep on. We're not going to repeat the same thing again. To sit there and see Drummond and Greg, all in the box and teams packing the paint, So I'm excited about that more so than Ilyasova. I love the move. I think the move is brilliant. So
I thought the move.
What do you think about it?
Yeah, I thought the move was brilliant. Also, I know that the writing's been on the wall for Greg for a while now. But I love the move just because it was kind of a safe move in a lot of aspects. It was a safe move in a lot of aspects, but it was also a great move in a lot of aspects. The reason why it was a safe move in a lot of aspects is because we pretty much turned nothing into something. That was one. And then two,
correct,
it gave us a borderline starter, a borderline bench player. Because after hearing the press conference, because I just listened to it earlier today, it's obvious that they're moving on from Greg Monroe. But had I not heard the press conference, and I still felt like they wanted to keep Greg Monroe, I felt like they could probably still turn out Greg Monroe as a starting power forward and bring off Ilyasova off the bench easily. Like there's no lock for Ilyasova to be a certified starter. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
He can definitely easily come off the bench as well as easily start. Now here's my concern. Now that they officially pretty much, they didn't say it, but they're pretty much referencing they're moving on from Greg Monroe. Do you feel like, I don't feel Ilyasova is a lock to be a starter. I feel like he's like a stopgap at that position. I feel like there's still an upgrade they can probably do because talent-wise, Ilyasova is not where Greg Monroe's at as far as a power forward.
Oh, no.
But as far as the system that they're running, he fits better than Greg Monroe, and I understand that.
Yeah.
But like overall, talent-wise, we downgraded a bit if we're talking about moving on from Greg Monroe. So my thing is that I don't think Ilyasova is a long-term plan. I think what he is, more or less, is a ultimate replacement for Anthony Tolliver. Because Anthony Tolliver is limited in what he can do. Like, don't get me wrong, I love me some Tully, and I really fucking love him, but he's limited in everything he can do. He's not that great of a defensive player. He's a good hustler. Stretches the floor nicely.
He's a good hustler.
But he doesn't grab rebounds. He's not a rebounder. He's undersized. He doesn't play defense well. He's just missing a lot of aspects to the game that are going to make him like a permanent guy on the team in the long term. I think his time is coming to where we're also moving on from him.
Yeah, but you said it though. If we remember the run of the Pistons, although I don't really count that stuff when it comes to the end of the year and everybody's tanking and teams not really playing. Like, we play the Knicks and, we playing Philly, and all these teams are literally, we know they're tanking not to win, or they're not playing their hardest, or they, playing crazy lineups and everything like that. Don't want to take anything away from the little, winning piece that we had at the end of the year, but we do know at the end of the year is not the best indicator for a team to go on a streak, especially depending on who you're playing. But I think the idea is that, okay, we won these games without Greg Monroe, with Anthony Tulliver. Ilya Silva is an upgrade over Anthony Tulliver.
Yep.
So now we have two stretch fours. They don't have any long-term contracts. These are contracts that are going to end in a year. So I just think there's a lot of potential there to do some different things. I just think there's a lot of potential there to do some different things. But like you said, not a long-term starter, and like you said, borderline bench player. So if we do go after somebody, or if we bring in somebody, or we make a trade for somebody who's a legit starter, then we just get more depth on our bench. You know what I mean? And it's not like a lot of egos. And I think Stan is doing a really good. I think he's trying to do a really good job of building this team to reflect the Orlando Magic team that he had. I don't think that Drummond is close to the defensive player that Dwight was, but I believe that some of the other things that Drummond doing, I think he's ahead of Dwight. He's ahead of Dwight in some other areas. Not just rebounding either. I think that the things he does, the picks he set. Like, people don't give enough credit to big men and them setting picks. Like, he sets picks that he's a big body. He set picks in the way he moves off the pick and roll. It causes the whole defense to collapse. Like, they have to make a choice. Like, when he rolls off that pick, teams are like, yo, oh my God, what are we going to do? Are we going to give up this J to Jennings or Jackson? Or are we going to roll with Drummond and we know we're going to get that oop? You know what I mean? So I just think there's a lot of different variables to what we can do out of having stretch fours. Like, I'm not even, if people don't like this, I'm not even against, like, if we drafted Kaminsky. I wouldn't even have been against that, because to me, he fits the system. I'm so done with drafting players open for potential. I think that those are the stuff that when you're in the bottom five and your team has no real future, and you keep on saying, well, we're not gonna make the playoffs anyway for the next 2-3 years. So hey, let's take a flyer. Let's hope this guy develops in 2-3 years.
Exactly.
So when we were in, like, literally,
we were in that mode.
When
we were in that mode 3 years ago.
That's what I'm trying to say. So that was a chance and we took our flyer from it.
Absolutely.
And now this is
Knight,
where we're at. So
and
now
Greg Monroe and KCP.
Right. Now we're in a place to legitimately be a playoff team next year. And it could come down to who we draft or if we trade the pick. And I'm not against trading the pick. I'm actually, like, if you look at the ace pick history, and people, I know we can't go by all the mumbo jumbo and people say that's, all that. But the ace pick traditionally has been the worst pick since the draft has become a lottery piece. It has produced less all-stars. It has produced less
I want references to that, man. I want your
I did a post. No, I did a.
Did you?
I did a post.
Okay.
I did a post.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. It's like, if you look at it, the eighth pick in the lottery has been traditionally the worst pick. Like, there's no all-star except for, it's like one or two good players that you'll look at and we call good. Now, after the eighth pick, I don't know what it is about the eighth pick. Like, after the eighth pick, there's been some stars. There's been the Iguodala's. There's been the Kwame Leonard's. There's been the Paul Georges. There's been, the Drummond. There's been a lot of good players after the eighth pick, but there's something about that eighth pick that's just like a bad luck pick. It's like a bad luck pick. And I don't know what it is. I know it's very, like, this is voodoo-ish and it's very, woo, but it's something about the eighth pick that just scares the heck out of me, because I just look at the history of eighth picks, and then none of them, like, you don't look at and like, the best I've seen in the last few years has been Rudy Gay and Brandon Knight. Those have been the best in the last several years.
Where's Drummond?
Brandon Knight, like 3 years.
Drummond came in, 9th, Greg Monroe was what, 8th?
Mm-hmm.
Was he an 8th?
7.
He was a 7th.
Greg Monroe was 7.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
KCP was a 8th or 9th?
8.
He was an 8th. I mean, to be honest, like, I'm not too mad about the 8th pick. I wasn't mad about it. Like, I know you said there's a bit of a stigma on the 8th pick, but to be honest, man, the Pistons have owned that 7th through 9th pick for the last 5 years, man. We've turned out some pretty decent players.
Yeah. You know, we gave up on one, and I mean, I'm not giving up on KCP. I don't believe in you kind of start to look to get rid of guys or move them on until after their 3rd year. If their 3rd year, they haven't made like serious progress, then they become expendable, like through trades or whatever. I believe you start to think about getting rid of them. I mean, that's just how I feel. I was like, after a player's 3rd year, you need to start thinking about moving them, you know, and not, you know, holding on to stuff too long.
Right.
So
yeah, I agree.
If they haven't made any real improvement, if they're making like real improvement or gradual improvement, hold on to them. But if they're not really making that you might as well just come up under them, because a lot of players, that's it. You're like the 3rd year, they tell you who they are. You should start to see some level of development. Like Drummond in his 2nd year, we knew that he was going to, if nothing else, we knew he was going to be just a dominant rebounder. You know, look at what his name, DeAndre Jordan. It took DeAndre Jordan like several years before he even got his stuff together to become the player he is. Yeah. And Drummond is like, 4 or 5 years younger than him, and he's already as dominant as him as far as rebounding and, you know, controlling the paint and everything like that. I just think by the time a player's 3rd year, so to me this is a make or break year for KCP. This isn't I don't care what he does in summer league, if he goes to summer league. I don't care if he goes to summer league and averages like 40 points a game. If he can't come into the season and at least shoot a good 36, 37% from threes, if he can't shoot a solid like 43, it's sad that we got to say 43% is solid, but a solid 43, 44% from the field, I think you got to think, no matter how much he hustles on defense and all of that, I think you got to think about trading him, package him now, you know, and get as much as you can for him and hope that another team bites, you know, and just really hope another team bites.
I completely agree, man. The fact that okay, so I had a huge problem with KCP his rookie year. I didn't feel like he was a fit starter. Absolutely not.
Right.
I felt like he had intangibles that gave him a little bit of an edge over the heap crap of shooting guards we had at the time. But
right.
Other than that, any other team he wouldn't have started. I mean, this is a guy that was a big-time project. Being drafted, it was a head-scratcher from Joe Dumars himself, as usual. But he turned out to be pretty all right. Again, I'm still not sold on him. Like you said, he's got spotty shooting. We got two starting guards that have spotty shooting. Right. I just don't see how people think that this is a future that we can build upon. I get it that KCP's starting to get a little better. I get it that Reggie can put up points in bunches. I think that's a very, very, very solid plus about Reggie's game. But neither one of them can shoot basketball worth a damn. Like
not consistently.
Not consistently. No. And I mean, these are your starting guards, though. These are your starting guards.
Yeah.
And this is what I was telling guys.
That concerns me.
This is what I was telling guys is that everybody was thinking about defense or drafting a defensive small forward, and I'm just like, you really don't realize like how bad this team is gonna suck if we don't get a guy that can score, like a legitimate score at the small forward. Like this team really does need someone that can shoot the basketball, man. Ilyasova can shoot the basketball, but he's not going to put up 37 points like in that one highlight the guy put up in the forum the other day. He's not going to do that every night. He's going to get you a solid 15. Right. But I mean, you need a guy that really can put up 20 points. I mean, just from shooting. I mean, I'm not talking about around the basket. I'm talking about just pure shooting the basketball. You need a guy that can put up about 15 points there, and nobody on the team can do that. At least the ones that are starting.
Let me say this. I think Meeks. I think Jody Meeks. If you look at what he did in the second half of the season,
Meeks, yeah.
He got his legs up under him, and you look at his numbers on the second half of the season. Like he only played like 60 games, but you look at it like his last 30, he's like averaging double-figure scoring. He's shooting around. I think he's shooting like a little bit over 40% for threes. He's shooting around like 40-something, 44, 42, something like that. I can't remember the percent from the field. He was actually better than KCP in the second half of the year, like his shooting and everything. So
well, that's like expected. I mean, that's kind of expected, though. I mean, that's what we brought in Jody Meeks to do, was to shoot.
Yeah, I mean, he was actually supposed to be that guy. You know what I mean? I actually think he would have been, once again, if he didn't get hurt, I believe he beats KCP out. KCP comes off the bench, and that would have been the rotation. It's just the fact that we didn't have him. So KCP became the starter by default.
Yep.
Then by the time Jody Meeks got back, we've already got a groove. And like I said, KCP does bring a lot on the defensive intensity of being able to switch between he can switch on some of the small forwards. He can, play the shooting guards. He can jump on the point guards and defend. I think that's attractive to having him as a starter. But if you're looking for offense, I think Jody Meeks could be a legit 15-point guy. But honestly, I don't think there's nobody in the draft in the next year, 2 years. Now, I can't project 3 years from now what a guy's going to become. I can have my opinions. But if you just look at projections and some of the analytical projections, there's really nobody that is projected to be if you believe in all the WARP and all those analytics that's been created and say, can kind of predict who will be the superstar. Although in the last 5 years they've been very accurate among some of the players to say, oh, this player will be it, this player won't be, da 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 da. But I don't think there's any guy we can put in unless we just strike gold and we get a Kwame Leonard. We strike gold, we get a Paul George. We strike gold, we get a Hayward Gordon. We just luck out and we end up with one of these type of guys. None of the guys are projected to be an impact player. So when I say trade that 8th pick, that if Golden State called and said, hey, we really want the 8th pick for their mate. When if Golden State said, we want Willie Cauley-Stein. We want him, and he's available at 8, and we'll give you Harrison Barnes, and we'll give you our 27th pick or our 30th pick. I would take that deal and run. I would take a Harrison Barnes right now with any player who will be available at 8, and I'd take any player outside of the top 3.
I would take that deal
Harrison Barnes over them in a heartbeat because we don't have to wait for the development, and I think their stand is the same way. I think if a team offered a legit young guy, and I say the young, I'm talking about from that 22 to 24, maybe 25 type age, who's either on the verge of being a breakout player, haven't had any major injuries, and could come in right away and contribute. That only makes sense. It doesn't make sense to me to take even, I don't care who it is, to take any guy and then hope that they end up being able to fit in, adjust, be able to develop. And I don't think Stan likes working with young players. I don't think he falls in love with, I'm not saying he's Larry Brown, but I just don't think he likes working with young players. I think he likes working with veterans. I think he likes working with guys who already know the scheme. I think he likes working with guys who fit systems. I don't think he wants a team of, guys who can go one-on-one all day long. I just don't think that's what his desire is, to build his team. I don't think that's what he's looking for.
I don't think most serious teams are looking for that, man. I think the teams that settle for that kind of format are teams that are always the top, or the top 5 and they're just top 5 lottery picks every year. I mean, those are the teams that don't win any games, man. They're the teams that have all the young
and they don't try. Right.
And they just and it's and the worst part about that, everybody loves a team like that because they get that Fab Five feeling. You know what I mean? It's all the young guys. You know what I mean? And they're going up against the world or whatever. You know what I mean? And what happens is you create a sink or swim mentality for for a lot of guys that just came out of high school a year ago, and you're expecting them to compete with grown men, and it's like, yeah, good luck with that. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah. No, you're right. You know what it does though? It's exactly what you said. It kind of creates that like they're young, so it's okay to lose, but they're exciting. Yeah. I remember the Clippers. You remember back when the Clippers it was a while ago. They had Darius Miles and God, what is his name? He's on our bench now. He's like one of the coaches. I can't think of his name. He's he played for Orlando. He's one of the coaches on.
You're talking about like the
Darius
Miles, Elton Brand. Is that the team you're talking about? Sean
Darius Miles on Brand. But you know the other guys on our bench right now. He's like the player development guy. I can't think of his name right now, but him and everybody was just like, and I think they had our little young point guard, and everybody was like, oh, they're just so exciting. Oh, they're so much fun. But you're not winning no games. And then in 3 years, you know, you trying to re-up these contracts, and you measuring like, okay, but we haven't won no games, and then you don't want them no more.
Yeah,
you see that happen so many times. Look at the Sixers. Like the Sixers are literally repeating the same actions over and over again. They're creating a brand that, you know, their whole thing is, well, we're gonna keep going to be landed superstar. They tried to sell out last year to get Wiggins. They didn't get Wiggins. They try to sell out again this year to get like a Towns or Okafor or whoever, D'Angelo Russell. Now they hoping D'Angelo Russell falls to them at 3. They keep on selling out to this. I'm not saying the T-Wolves are necessarily selling out, but they are too. I mean, come on now. Look what they're doing. They're giving away players to get younger players, and they're just trying to build this core young players. And it's just, to me, it's no future. But you look at the team, and this is where I say, I'm going to bring it back to Sam Decker. This is what I'm saying. The teams that are from 8 to 14, all of those teams were either in the draft, they were either in the playoff hunt last year, or they were in the playoff hunt at some time this year, or they're considered an up-and-coming team that's like a piece away. You start to have to measure, do we take a guy who can come in and potentially help us right now, who's experienced, who can fit systems, or do we just take a guy and just say, okay, let's see what happens. You know, let's see, can this guy be like, can Kelly Oubre, is he going to be the next Tracy McGrady? Or is he going to be, you know, another bust, you know, or is he going to be just end up being, what is his name, Swaggy P? Is he going to become another Swaggy P, you know, a guy who just can put up some points and make it look pretty, but at the end of the day, you're a high-volume shooter who averages 16 points a game, but you shoot 41, 42% from the field. You know, I think all of that is the things that I start to question. Like I said, we'll see next week, but I wouldn't be mad if Winslow fell to 8, we took 8. Because, I mean, obviously, by all reports, he will be the best wing player in the draft, or he's been considered the best wing player in the draft. But I think if he falls, you have to really look at why he's falling and what is taking place. He's had some poor workouts. The Denver, I mean, I know a lot of people like to do smoke and mirrors, but Denver said that he had a terrible workout. They said he looked sluggish. They said he looked, and some people said it may have been the atmosphere, but other players had the same thing in the atmosphere, and none of them, you know, whatever. But then, you know, I know there's a lot of smoke and mirrors going on. You want to make a player sound bad so he can drop and everything. But
how about this Chris Tappas guy, the European big man? Like, do you feel like there's a lot of smoke and mirrors behind him? Because I get such a fishy feeling about this guy, man. He jumped up so many spots, and it feels like a lot of teams are trying to hype him up so a lot of other players can fall, so those teams can take those. You know,
it's smoke and mirror time of year. But I will say, if you look at, you know, people like to do the Darko comparison. The difference is this guy Darko came. I won't say he came out of nowhere because I remember listening. Terry Runzo. He used to be our international scout, and now he's like a GM for like the Raptors or something. he was like a wizard at this, and he was one of the first people who was talking about Darko, and a lot of teams did go see Darko. I remember Don Nelson went to go see Darko, and he was like, he was making good comparisons. He had nothing to lose by saying Darko was going to be. He thought Darko was a good player and everything like that.
Well, a lot of people thought Darko was, but then I don't know. It could be smoke and mirrors too. I don't know, man. I
think Darko, if there was no such thing as LeBron, Darko goes number one in that draft. It's just like, that's what I believe. If there was no LeBron, if LeBron said, I'm going to go college for a year, Darko goes number one in that draft. That's where he was at. Now, if he was all smoke and mirrors enough to go to number one, that's a lot of smoke and mirrors. I think that he just didn't work out. And it happens. Some of the best players in the world are just on the wrong team, and it just doesn't fit. If he was on a different team, I think they wrote an article about it saying if Darko had went later to another team, other than the Pistons, other than that year, who knows what type of player could have been under the right development. He just wasn't. I think the guy here, I'm going to call him KP, what KP had is that he was scouted last year, and he was being talked about as a lottery pick last year. He pulled out of the draft, and then he got better, and then he got back put in the draft. So he was already being talked about. Mario last year, he pulled out of the draft. He was already being talked about. So what we're seeing now with a lot of these European guys, these guys are being scouted already, but then some of them are like, okay, let me go back, let me get a little bit more experience, and then they're coming back into a draft. Now they have more excitement, and literally it's gotten better. And now their stock values chance up because they bring a skill level that nobody else brings. Like what KP has, there's no other player. Only other player who's even close to what he has is Frank Kaminsky. So imagine if Frank Kaminsky was more athletic. How exciting would that be? That Frank Kaminsky could literally break you down off the dribble and then dunk on you in traffic, or you know what I mean?
I'm over here at Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm just checking the score. It looks like Golden State's up 11 with like 12 minutes left, or 11 minutes left.
I'm watching the game now. I hope I'm not gonna speak nothing bad. I will see what happens, but I don't want to jinx them.
Okay. So, all right. So your thoughts on this series, though? Like, I know no one wants to really talk about it, but your thoughts on this series, like, what are your takeaways on Golden State and the Cavs? And Dickie, I forgot you were with us, so.
I've been listening and driving.
And driving, cool.
We got a friend. Woo.
So, like, I'm not gonna jinx anybody, but like, my thoughts on it is that I'm very impressed by LeBron. That says a lot from a guy that's pretty much bashed him his whole career.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I felt like he did as much as he could with the roster he came into going into the finals. I was really expecting a sweep, if not a 5-game series, similar to like the Pistons did to the Lakers in 2004. I was expecting like a 5-game sweep or just a legit sweep. Like, I really didn't feel like this series was going to be close at all.
Golden State?
Yeah.
Golden State sweeping?
Yeah,
okay.
Golden State was just going to just destroy them guys, man. They're just way outclassed. Golden State just had way more talent. And it just felt like those first 3 games it just felt like the Twilight Zone. I'm like, what Golden State, it felt like, how the hell did Golden State make it this far playing like this? You know what I mean? And some of the guys that were stepping up for the Cavs were unbelievable, man. It's like, I don't know. For me, it felt like LeBron, even though he's, again, I don't want to jinx anything, probably won't win this, but it felt like he was making a point, man. And
well, you said it. I mean, I have no disagreement that LeBron is the best player in the world. I'm not as impressed as a series as some people are. I get it. He carried the whole team on his back, and he's done it. Do you know who else did something similar to this? Not with the rebounding, maybe not as far as but LeBron dominates the ball so much. So I'm not taking up. I'm not a LeBron hater. I'm not taking him much away. But when you're putting up like 35 shots a game, you're literally averaging 35 shots a game. You're LeBron, and you're going to get about 40 points a game. So it's different if you were doing 18, 25 shots a game, getting 37, 40. But you literally shooting 35 shots a game. It doesn't. But that's not the part of the game that strives in me. The only thing I would say I would give him the kudos is his posture as a leader. You know, that's the part. He's not moping. He's not like, and maybe it is like, I already got 2 championships. I've been here. I've been to the finals like 29 years in a row. Or, you know what I mean?
It just looks like he's. It looks like he's comfortable out there, doesn't it? Like it doesn't look like he's nervous. It just looks like he's like, I've been here. I've done this, guys. Just follow my lead, and we'll give it the best shot we can. You know what I mean?
He's gonna walk in the finals. I'm gonna play the devil's advocate. He's gonna walk in the finals. They're gonna lose. Let's say if they lose. I'm not gonna say they're gonna lose because they'll go on. LeBron will go score the next 45 points or something. But they are. If they lose the series, I'll say if they lose the series, everybody will walk away and say it's not LeBron's fault. It's their guy's fault. LeBron's gonna get on stage and he's gonna say, we rally together. This is my team. We lost. It wasn't down to me. And everybody's gonna look at him like a hero. Him losing is gonna be bigger news than Golden State winning. Then everybody's gonna talk about how the Cavs will be back next year because they'll have a healthy such and such. They'll have a healthy Kyrie Irving. If Kevin Love's back and all of this. But what LeBron did statistically does not impress me as much as his posture of carrying a team. But I still don't look at him, and I don't look at LeBron and see him even in Jordan's shadow. I don't look at that and compare the two. I don't compare the two as leaders. I don't compare the two as players. I read this article that talks about Jordan analytics, and it said that Jordan, just based off of just analytics, I know some people, you two-stat crazy, but analytics to say that what Jordan would do in this generation, just based off of the shots he took, the way he played, the things that was called then that's not called now, goodness gracious, it would be ridiculous. Like, if we're going crazy over LeBron, this matter than Jordan, so I don't get too crazy about his stats, especially shooting the ball 35 times a game. I get crazy more so just like I said, I like to see him as a man being a leader to these other guys, like what he did to turn around J.R. Smith. I like the way he rallies. He gets people to believe in him. That is what I admire about him, and I don't think he's always done that. I don't think he did that in Miami.
I don't think he did that in Miami either.
I think in Miami, he took Dwayne Wade was the guy they believed in. I think that in Miami, LeBron looked up to Dwayne Wade. I think in Miami, Chris Bosh didn't look up to LeBron. He looked up to Dwayne Wade. I think that team rallied around Dwayne Wade. When Dwayne Wade came in the game and he was scoring like 7 points in a row, that team rallied around him. I think kind of like what Golden State does with Steph Curry. I think when Steph Curry comes in the game, Steph Curry hits the three, and, I think everybody just starts to thinking, we get another stop. Steph Curry can hit another three. We could be down 15 points with 5 minutes left. So if we can get 3 stops, Steph Curry can get us back in the game. I think that's what LeBron does. But like I said, his leadership has been more impressive to me than what he's done statistically, because he's shooting like 40%, like 42, 41%, but he's doing everything else so well. And I'm not a big triple-double person. I love triple-doubles, but I think sometimes they can get overblown when you look at usage. When you start looking at usage,
Reggie,
it could be overblown.
Good. Yeah, I agree. I'm not a big triple-double guy either. I think they look pretty. I just feel like a lot of times the stats lie, man. individual stats especially. There's just a lot, man. You gotta do like you said, analytics, and there's also advanced stats. You gotta look into all of that, and then not only that, you gotta do an eyeball test as well. You can't just judge it right off a box score. So I definitely
you can't.
So this what do you think about this series, Dickie?
Series.
Without wanting to jinx it.
Number 3.
Who did? Curry?
I said, yeah, it's crazy. Put him up like 13 points.
Keep going. Okay. Well, I think the East really didn't offer much challenge to the Cavaliers in the first place. Like Chicago was the only team that actually beat them twice. Atlanta, I didn't expect a sweep, but I expected them to give it a little bit more fight. But I understand they had the injuries, and I still don't really like the call on Al Horford. I'm still mad about that. I haven't read this for a long time. And I don't like Dellavedova for that because, obviously the guy is just pure evil. But anyway, I just know. I really, I look at the West and I admire the West so much because when you watch the West during playoffs, it's like a challenge. They're going to play, they were fighting for 8th place, and when Oklahoma got eliminated due to technicality, not because they lost lost more, but I don't know. Nobody wants to go to Oklahoma during this time of the year, so they got out. I don't know how that happened, but I'm just always impressed by the West. I always like to watch them play because I know it's going to be a dogfight the entire time. And Golden State's been challenged. Houston, whoever else they beat, they're just so much more ready for a finals game than Cleveland ever was. And the one thing I don't like about Cleveland, I have a lot of things I don't like about Cleveland, but one of the things I didn't like was that if LeBron had came to Cleveland and said, I'm going to help you, I'm going to lead you into this, we're going to do this together with the team that he had, and there was no Wiggins drama and Love drama last year. Last summer my Facebook was all about this horrible thing happening with Wiggins and Love and whatever. And if he just took the team that he had and shaped them and said, okay, I'm going to take you. Nobody knows who you are except Kyrie. We know you. And Bergeau, okay, fine. But if he had taken that team and just gone for it, and they would have on their own merit, fine. But to me, it was way too much buying new players. It was way too much trading new players. We're still not winning. Mid-season they weren't doing very well. Nobody remembers that now, but they weren't doing very well. And then they had to bring in J.R. and Shumpert, whatever.
Yeah, you're right.
And then they start to do well. And I'm going, okay, all right. So if we all LeBron's taking 2 weeks off. He wasn't hurt. But he took 2 weeks off.
He did take 2 weeks off. I do remember that.
And then he came back bigger. Then he came back bigger than he was before.
Yeah.
When he got on steroids.
Put the guy out with adamantium, and then they're like, "Oh my God, he's playing so well." I'm like, "Yeah, well, if you could if the whole freaking team can take 2 weeks off and come back when they want, well, sure, yeah, I'm sure they were fresh."
He went into that Captain America chamber. Came out bigger.
You remember LeBron at the end of the season, he was all thin, and he came back bigger than he was when he left.
Yeah, and I'm going and everybody's like, "Oh, he's so great," and I'm going, "Do you not remember anything that's happened so far?" The guy is because we publicize everything that he does, so it's amazing to me when people forget. Oh, yes, he all of this has happened and led them to this moment. But Golden State, honestly, 3 years ago, when I think that was Steph Curry's first year, I was watching the playoffs, and I was like, I'm new to loving basketball as much as I do now, but I was watching and I'm like, this guy's fucking amazing. This guy is fucking, I'm like, crazy what he's doing. And I said, I said my grandmother, like, she's 90 and she loves basketball, and I'm like, we have got to see him. We have got to see him come here. Just do what he does. And when he comes here, he's really low key. He's that big, showy 3-pointer type of person. He's really humble. If you've seen him when he plays here, he's not that guy. You know, he knows they're going to win. We all know they're going to win. But so, like, it's not a new thing for me to love Golden State. I just like their organization. To me, was just handled really well. I was hoping that Golden State would win. Probably not a sweep. I was scared for the J.R. Smith tactics, the Dellavedova tactics. I thought they would pull something really raunchy and end up winning because of that, like something really evil. Because, like, do you remember when J.R. Smith untied Greg Monroe's shoes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like, I was like, I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for some really nefarious, stupid thing that you know is illegal. You know you can't do that. And he's going to do it, and, like, he's going to hurt Curry, and it's going to be over, or Klay Thompson or something. So I was like, I mean, literally. That's what Dellavedova was going to do. I wait for Dellavedova to, try to, like, cut Curry, get him mad, get Curry to fight. I would wait for him to do something like that. Yeah. And I'm like, that's what I was scared of. I mean, like, the week or 2 weeks we had before the playoffs started, like, every day, every time I thought about it, I'm just like, I'm praying, please, God, do not let them hurt him. Because they don't hurt to, like, just stop you like the bad boys. They don't hurt to stop you. They hurt to, like, hurt you. They want you out forever. Vicky, you said something really, like, I had this conversation with my cousin, like, months ago. This is, like, months ago. And you said it, the part about, when LeBron came to Cleveland, he got up there and he was like, I'm not saying we're going to win a championship anytime soon. I'm not saying we're going to the finals. He was like proclaiming, he was like setting himself up like if, no pressure on me, like I'm not going to do this. I'm not saying we do this. I'm here just because I love Cleveland and I'm going to give us a chance, one day. He didn't come there like, like you said, if it was like Wiggins was on that team and it was just like, and he took Wiggins under his wing and he was like, we're going to just do this together. And we just, I'm going to build with this team and I'm going to groom Wiggins to take over for me when I'm gone, in the next, so you'll have a superstar behind me. If he came in like that and they did this, I think they'd be better off than they are now. But now it's like he does have them here, and it's like you said, in the weak East, LeBron can literally go to the finals every year in the East until the East develops another superstar. Like, there's no other superstars. Like, the West just keeps getting all the lottery picks, and they keep on getting all the superstars. And nobody ever wants to sign with the East Coast teams, other than if, nobody wants to sign in New York no more. So everybody signs to the East. It's like an easy ride. Like, I'm surprised not more West Coast players don't come to the East because they will literally get the coast throughout the year to get to the finals. It's like, like even the Bulls now, who knows what the Bulls are going to turn out to be without Thibodeau, with Rose, in and out injuries, Paul George, we don't know how he's going to come back. We don't know what the East is going to look like. Carmelo, you don't know what he is anymore. Like, the East is very weak. That's why I said the Pistons, if they play their cards well with free agency, trade, signings, we could easily do what the Bucks did. Look how the Bucks just pulled it together so they had the right young pieces, the right talent, and the right system. And they were able to, yeah. I mean, they were amazing. I mean, when's the last time the Milwaukee Bucks did anything? I mean, like, really? They made it and we didn't? And that really offends me because I'm like, we have a history here. We make it to the playoffs and you guys don't. You guys are just like
like, you're not supposed to be here, you guys. Like, this is not your show, all right? This is not your rightful place. Your rightful place is in the lottery, not in the playoffs.
Right. You're supposed to be pushing to be a Piston. You are not supposed to be actually in the playoffs. And I'm looking around, I'm like, New York didn't make it. Boston, they barely made it. The Lakers didn't make it. And I'm going, all these classic teams have just gone flat. And I'm like, I guess that was like my only hope for the Pistons. I'm like, well, at least we're like in good company. We're Sacramento Kings and like Phoenix Suns or something like that. But
Golden State is up 15 points with 5 minutes, under 5 minutes.
Yeah, I still want to watch. Right? Do you know where I am? I'm like outside of my car.
I'm trying to update. I need to see your driving.
So the great thing.
No, I'm.
The great thing about this is that, like even though I'm giving LeBron a lot of credit, there's still one thing he doesn't do well, and that's make clutch shots, man. He bricks a lot of crunch time shots, and even air balls a few. So I think this is pretty much a wrap. Again, probably jinxing me. I'm probably jinxing it. But
I'm gonna have to. Guys, I'm gonna have to go. So we'll have to catch up another time. Set up another date, Mike.
I will definitely do so. I will definitely do so, and I'm gonna try to get the timing right. So again, that was my fault, guys. But yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Cool. Let's do it like before the draft or something.
So the draft is Thursday. So how about man, I'm thinking maybe that next Wednesday.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right.
I'm good. All right, fellas. And see you later, ladies and fellas. I'll talk to you later.
Absolutely. Thank you, Elder. Thank you for participating. Thank you, Dickie. Hope you guys enjoy this game.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Go Pistons. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Go Pistons.